Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, whenever I first looked into detachment, I was in a dark place, okay? Whenever I was looking at how to detach, it wasn't to manifest my future and all of this shit. It was because I wanted a Vampire Diary moment, like Elena whenever she cuts off humanity. That was me, bitch. I was in such a dark place and I was so tired of feeling, and I wanted to do whatever I could to just cut that shit off. But of course, I had to face reality and realize that I am very much a human and I have human feelings, and nothing I can do will ever take that ability from me, especially not in a healthy way. I can walk around unbothered. I can walk around looking like I don't give a fuck. That is a natural given for me. But what I hated so much was still feeling the feelings that came with the attachment that I was trying so hard to ignore. Of course, that is when I learned that detachment wasn't just about looking like you didn't give a fuck. It wasn't acting unbothered. It wasn't about looking like you didn't care. Detachment runs so much deeper than that. You can put up a front, but this is why I got stuck in loops, was because I would act this way, and then whenever I would be presented with the same pattern, I would fall for it again and act like it was going to be different this time, but in reality it was the same loop. I had to do a lot of self-talk, and I had to do my own research when it came to detachment, where it came from, and how you actually can achieve this. As someone who was anxious, I was anxious avoidant. I have BPD. My feelings already are on 10. My attachment issues are already on 10. I felt like I was a wired mess because I could never really figure out what was wrong and why my relationships to people or my connections to outcomes were so strong and overpowering and addictive for me. I also realized that detachment isn't something someone just wakes up one day and decides, hey, I want to do this. It typically comes after some kind of heartbreak. It doesn't have to be just relationship, it could be job, it could be with your family. A lot of these things can lead to someone realizing that they have definitely overplayed their part or over attached themselves to a person or outcome. And we have to learn how to regulate ourselves and detach ourselves from said attachment. And with having my own mental issues that I had to navigate while learning this thing, I actually found a formula that really helped me, and I wanted to share it with people who might be stuck in the same situation. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name is Angie, and I like to make videos where I just tell stories, I give advice, and I just make videos that I feel like I needed as my younger self. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So the first step that I had to do, when I had to be completely honest with myself and question myself on what is it that I am doing actively or subconsciously to keep me attached to this person or outcome. And I started to realize, when I would ask myself genuine questions, okay, well, what am I doing that's causing this? I started to get answers. And I realized the biggest thing that I had a hard time with was social media. That validation from them off social media. I would always go on the internet just to check to see if they were just on or active that day. I realized there were a lot of micro habits that I did myself that caused the attachment, even if me and this person were not in communication. I would constantly wait around for their text. I would constantly check my phone. All of these things kept me micro attached, and it was slowly building the attachment. And then when this person would actually reach out to me or like my stuff or start talking to me, I would literally shake, or I would feel almost nauseous to my stomach because they actually reached out to me. And I realized my nervous system was so intertwined with this interaction through social media that I needed to stop that shit, because ain't no way I'm going to be responsible for my own issues. You know what I mean? If I could stop it, I'm going to stop it. So the best thing that I did in that moment was take social media breaks. I would go 3 days without being on any type of social network besides YouTube. I was on YouTube, but I would not go on Instagram. I would not go on Facebook. I didn't go anywhere where this person was involved, because I needed to allow myself to withdraw from this habit in this person and let the illusion die so I could see what causing the attachment in the first place. And a lot of the times I realized it was just me overthinking, me assuming. Nuance was a hard thing for me, So I created my own storylines and acted as if those things were actually plausible. And that's where I had to stop, and I had to really evaluate the way I address connections and relationships. And I had to definitely reevaluate the actions that I was doing that could enable the attachment. Now, the second thing that I did to help myself detach was I started to look at things as an observer instead of someone who had to respond or react in the moment. With my BPD, I was a very big reactor. I was never taught how to emotionally regulate myself. I was not that girly. I was one that would definitely pop off. If you got me to a point where I had to react, it was going to be a big reaction. I realized that was causing more pain to myself than it was solving any fucking problem that I had. And I had to step into an observer role instead of a reactive role. And I started to look at things with more of curiosity. So whenever I was going on the social media breaks and I was trying to detox from this person, I would have these reactive moments where I just wanted to reach out to this person. I really wanted to talk to this person. I wanted to break the no contact. I couldn't stand the thought of losing this person. But I had to question those. Okay, well, why am I feeling this way? Am I wanting to talk to this person for connection or for relief? And I realized 9 times out of 10, it was relief. It was not for connection, because the connection led to pain. It led to heartache. I knew I was going to be stuck in the same fucking cycle and I did not want to do it. So the best thing I had to do was just, okay, I acknowledge this feeling, but right now it's just for relief. I just want to talk to them because I hate the way I feel right now, not talking to them. And that really helped me reel back my impulsive behavior. And it made me look at my impulsive behavior from a more logical lens instead of an emotional lens. Now, this leads into the third step when it comes to detachment. I had to learn how to become emotionally independent, and I had to learn to regulate my nervous system while practicing detachment. In order for you to be attached to someone, your nervous system is going to be wired around this person. Like I said before, I would get such high adrenaline spikes of this person finally texting me or reaching out to me because it was so anticipated. And I knew the cycle, I knew the loop, so I knew what to expect. And it was me being attached to the outcome of this connection, of this relationship, of this job, of this dream. All of the things that I really wanted, I became obsessed with. Now, again, with my BPD, I have a personality disorder. Favorite person, favorite things are very real when it comes to me. And it's not that I really want this habit or this feeling. It's just so familiar because it's the same kind of relationship I had with my parents. I had an absent daddy. I had a dying mommy. Your girl was solo, okay? I had no strong attachments with anyone around me because everybody abandoned me. Everyone left me. No one wanted me. So anytime I felt that little bit of hope, or like that person likes me, or you know, I really like that person and I want them to like me, a lot of these had in play with my attachment issues. And I realized my nervous system was a whole fucking mess and I just needed to work this shit out. And I started to Google ways to relearn your nervous system. I looked at ways to release tension, and I started to dig so deep in a spiritual healing journey because that's what I felt like I needed. When it came to my mental health, it felt more like a spiritual battle than a mental battle. I don't know how to express that to people. If you understand, and you might understand if not, the best way I can explain it to you is mind and heart at war all the time. Good and bad, what felt right, what felt wrong. Doing the right thing felt wrong, doing the wrong thing felt right. This is when I realized like I could be missing someone and I could be wanting this person and wanting to interact or reach out or just whatever the hell it is in that moment. And just because I missed that person doesn't mean they were good for me. I had to realize that my mind would over romanticize someone or something to a point where it gave me the illusion like, oh, I can handle it. Oh, it's okay. It's one off, whatever. I've been through worse. And growing up without having a good example of what a relationship, a connection, friendship, whatever it is, should look like, I was honestly just winging it all the fucking time. And I was overly attached and overly dependent on the people around me and the connection. And I gave away all of my power, all of my self worth and respect, and calling it love. I was calling it unconditional love because I truly thought that's what it was. Now that it's been years and I've had time to really sit in this and really figure myself out, now that I knew what I needed to work on and learn my own self worth, this is lesson number 4 when it comes to detachment. All of these experiences with connections and my attachment issues, I realized that I never truly knew my self worth. I always ended up undervaluing myself. But detachment and the journey that I've had with the real version of detachment, it has actually taught me so much self love, self respect. I've become so much more patient with myself and more realistic with myself. It has really grounded me in reality. I learned to be authentic without apologizing for it, doing things that I wanted without the worry of someone else's opinion of me. I truly started to realize that my self-worth can never revolve around another person. It led me to stop doing habits that I always thought were normal. For example, I mirrored people all the time. When I walked into a room, my personality changed depending on who was in there, because that's how I survived. That was a survival mechanism I made as a child, and I somehow carried it throughout my life thinking it was a personality trait. And I realized that I don't have to change myself when I walk into a room. I should never have to apologize for simply just showing up and being myself. And I shouldn't change myself just to make the people in the room more comfortable or make them like me. That is not genuine. That's not authenticity. For me, that was survival. I always wanted to blend into the background. I never wanted to stand out. I never wanted a reason for someone to look at me like I was different. So blending in was my camouflage. But then I realized it was also the utmost disrespect that I could do to myself, because I was demolishing my self-worth. I don't even know what I like about myself, because I had to change myself so many times, so many different times from so many different environments, that I was so confused on what traits were mine and what traits I inhabited from the people around me. I also learned those times that I was mirroring for the validation and for the comfort of fitting in and looking outside of myself for these, it caused me to be dependent on the people around me emotionally. Whenever I would lose that connection or lose that friend or that partner or whatever it was, I felt like I was literally losing a part of myself instead of just a connection. To me, I was way too invested and I was way too attached to this person, that losing them made me feel like I was losing parts of myself that were never really a part of myself. And constantly feeling like I was losing myself is the reason why I wanted to learn detachment, why I wanted to master it, because I was so tired of being hurt. I was so tired of being the one that held on when everyone else was trying to let go. I was always that person. I would allow myself to put up with things that I should not have. I stayed longer than I should have. Detachment has allowed me to love myself while walking away. And the only thing I can do is just control how I respond to these things and respond to how they make me feel. If I'm too anxious about something, I will purposely step away from it because I'm becoming attached. Something I did made me attached. I need to step away. Not out of hatred, it's not out of disrespect. It's literally out of love now. It's out of love for myself, love for my peace of mind, for my sanity. I need to be completely independent within myself. I had to realize in my life, I've always been pushed to detaching. I've always been put in situations where I have overstayed my welcome and I did too much. And it resulted into me being hurt because I simply did not know how to let go when I was supposed to. There's a saying that I read that I really do repeat in my head all the time. It's never rejection, it's alignment. If something is not meant for you, the universe will knock it out of your alignment and realign you to what you need to be doing. So every connection, every job I wanted, every relationship that I wanted, friendship, whatever it was that I really wanted, but just somehow didn't line up for me, was truly never rejection. It was what was best for me. And knowing that now, I have such an easier time of, Thank you for the experience. I'm grateful I learned the lesson I needed to learn, but I can release this. I don't need this. It does no good for me to live in a past. I need to focus on my present. I need to focus on the now. I'm only getting older. And I can't keep operating in a way that helped me survive. I have to outgrow this and become my own person and just have fucking fun with life and people and the things and the lessons you're supposed to learn through these people. No one is here for you specifically forever. It's just you and then everyone you encounter along the way. The truth is, healthy detachment does not look like Elena Gilbert going off and shutting off her humanity as much and as badly as I fucking wanted it to. I've learned detachment is honestly just a journey through self love. And if I could have had someone tell me that a lot sooner, I feel like the journey would have gone a lot better for me. Those are all the lessons that I have personally learned through detachment. And I will be completely honest with you guys. This was one hell of a journey for me, especially starting it so young due to a lot of pain and a lot of misfortune on my half. I wanted to come out here and tell you about this stuff because I needed this video when I was younger. I needed to have this reality check and this truth and this honesty with myself. And even though I figured it out on my own along the way, if there's anyone out here that I can help change your perspective on detachment and healing and your attachment issues, you'll be surprised on how peaceful life gets after you've integrated all of these lessons. At least for me, I have never felt so much more secure than I do now, ever since I've learned the lessons through detachment. And I learn new things about it every single day. And I don't think anyone can be perfect when it comes to detachment. So be patient with yourself. There may be times where you fall back into bad habits, maybe times that you give into certain thoughts or you may react. Just be patient with yourself and know that you are learning, and that learning is not an overnight thing. It's actually a process. And you have to just go along with this process. I just feel like life has this weird way of constantly testing you to see if you will fall into old habits or if you are growing and learning from what you've dealt with. I wish you guys the best of luck on your journey through detachment. I hope that I was able to push out a perspective. It was definitely a perspective that I needed as a child growing up through my own attachment issues. And I hope it could help you guys out. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a good day. Peace out.